Hi everyone, my name is Thankshukhabile. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking the play button. I am so excited for the part 3 of Women Who Followed Jesus. I'm so grateful to the Lord Jesus Christ who continues to minister to women. The Lord Jesus Christ who still cares about women, who still cares about the well-being of the women, who still cares about the heart of the women. And today's Bible study, I am trusting God to minister to every woman that will be watching this video. And I'm also trusting God that you may have a deeper relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ as you get to understand who He is and His heart towards women. You will have a deeper relationship with Him. Today's Bible study will be coming from Luke chapter 8 verse 40 to 48 NIV. Today's Bible study is about a woman who was bleeding for 12 years. The story starts in verse 43, but for the sake of context, I will start in verse 40. Verse 40. Now when Jesus returned, a crowd welcomed him, for they were all expecting him. Verse 41. Then a man named Jairus, a synagogue leader, came and fell at Jesus' feet, pleading with him to come to his house. Verse 42. Because his only daughter, a girl of above 12, was dying. As Jesus was on his way, the crowd almost crushed him. So the context of verse 40 to 42, it is so important because Jesus was going somewhere. He was on his way to the house of Jairus, whose 12-year-old daughter was dying. And on the way to the house of Jairus, there was a woman who had been bleeding for 12 years. Let us continue to read verse 43. And a woman was there who had been subject of bleeding for 12 years, but no one could heal her. So every woman watching this video, if you went through any form of bleeding, you can agree with me that bleeding is not pleasant. I'm not a doctor, but I know that bleeding can cause weakness, and bleeding also can form other health issues. I cannot imagine bleeding for 12 years. I don't even want to think about that a lot. That this woman was bleeding for 12 years, that's a long time to be bleeding. I cannot imagine the emotional and mental toll that this woman went through. But what I love about Jesus is that He can change your story. Jesus can change your story. Regardless of what you are going through, Jesus can change your story. Let us continue to read verse 44. She came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak, and immediately her bleeding stopped. Immediately her bleeding stopped. It is so amazing that this woman did not touch the body of Jesus. She did not touch the entire cloak of Jesus, but she touched the edge of the cloak. And when she touched the edge of the cloak, the bleeding stopped immediately. Let us continue to read verse 45. Who touched me? Jesus asked. When they all denied it, Peter said, Master, the people are crowding and pressing against you. Verse 46. But Jesus said, someone touched me. I know that the power has gone out from me. The power has gone out from me. So it's so interesting that many people were touching Jesus. But when this woman touched Jesus, power left Jesus. There was a withdrawal of power from Jesus and a deposit of power to the woman. It is so sad that other people that were touching Jesus, this transaction of power, this exchange of power never happened to them. But when this woman touched Jesus, the power was deposited to the woman, to the body of the woman. And because of this power of Jesus, the woman was healed immediately. Sickness had to flee. Disease had to flee. Bleeding had to stop. Infirmity had to leave her body because of the power of Jesus. When the power of Jesus came into the body of woman, that which is from the devil, that which is from Satan, had to flee, had to leave. And she was healed immediately. Let's continue reading. When the woman, seeing that she could not go unnoticed, came trembling and fell at his feet, in the presence of all the people, she told why she had touched him, and now she had been instantly healed. Verse 48, then he said to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. In verse 48, we are learning the secret of this immediate healing and the withdrawal of power from Jesus. The woman had faith. That's the secret. The woman had faith. Many people were touching Jesus and did not have this experience that the woman had. But this woman had the experience that other people who touched Jesus did not have because of the big secret, which is faith. She had faith. The Greek word for faith is pistis, and it means persuasion, moral conviction, assurance, and belief. So this woman had the conviction and the assurance that Jesus could heal her. This woman had the conviction and the assurance that if she can have an encounter with Jesus, she will be healed. And that's what happened to her. The healing stopped. The bleeding stopped immediately. This word pistis comes from another Greek word called pitho. And one of the meanings of pitho are to rely, to believe, have confidence and trust. So faith in Jesus is relying on him. And how many of us rely on Jesus? How many of us can ask ourselves this question and answer it with honesty? The question is, do we rely on Jesus? Can we really ask ourselves that question and answer it with honesty? This woman believed in Jesus. She had confidence in Jesus. She trusted Jesus and she relied on Jesus. And because of that, she was healed immediately. Because of that, power left Jesus and entered her body. And when power entered her body, she was healed immediately. In conclusion, today we learned that the woman had been bleeding for 12 years. And when she touched the edge of Jesus' cloak, the bleeding stopped immediately. We also learned that there was withdrawal of power from Jesus and a deposit of power in the body of the woman. We also learned that many people touched Jesus, but they never had the same experience that the woman had. We also learned that the reason the woman had this experience is because of her faith in Jesus. We learned that faith in Jesus is believing in him, it's trusting him, it's relying on him and yielding. Having faith in Jesus is yielding. So my prayer is that every woman watching this video, we will all yield, we will all trust Jesus, and we will all rely on him and believe on him. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you again next time. Goodbye.